First graders, today we are going to continue working on comparison problems using RDW. But today you're going to be a lot more independent, and we're also going to check to make sure our answers make sense and are reasonable. Go grab your whiteboard or paper and something to write with right now and come back. Hit pause. All right, first graders, now we are going to do our first step, which is read the problem. Tony is reading a book with 16 pages. Maria is reading a book that has 10 pages. How much longer is Tony's book than Maria's book? Your job now is to hit pause and do RDW for this problem. Then hit play when you're done. First graders, great job. I hope that yours looks something like mine now. You might have a picture that looks like this, or you might have a picture that looks like this. Let's check to make sure we have all the important parts. Do I have my drawings? I do. I have a drawing. I actually have two, but you probably have one. Do I have labels? I do. Do I have a number sentence? I do. And do I have an answer statement? I do. Now we have a big job, first graders. We need to make sure that our answer is reasonable or that it makes sense. We said Tony's book is 6 pages longer. Does that make sense if he was reading a book with 16 pages and she was reading a book with 10? Well, if we want to know how much longer, we would know that his number has to be less than 16, and it is. We can also see that 10 plus 6 equals 16. So we can see that this is a reasonable answer. Some first graders, whenever they see two numbers in a problem, they just add them together like this. If we thought an answer was 26, would it make sense that Tony's book was 26 pages longer than Maria's? It wouldn't, because 26 is even bigger or longer than his book is altogether. So that doesn't make sense. First graders, this is why we always need to check to see if our answer is reasonable at the very end. First graders, this is our next problem. I want you to do RDW for this problem. If we read the problem together, it says, Shanika built a block tower using 14 blocks. Tamra built a tower using 5 more blocks than Shanika. How many blocks did Tamra use to build her tower? Now pause and do RDW. Hit play when you're done and ready to move on. First graders, you probably have a picture that looks like one of my pictures. Now let's check for RDW. Do we have drawings? Check. Do we have labels? Check. Do we have a number sentence? Check. Do we have an answer statement? Check. Now we need to check and see if our answer is reasonable. Our answer says Tamra used 5 blocks. Does that seem reasonable? Let's look at our picture. In our picture, we see that Tamra used all of these blocks here. But in my answer, I said 5. Is that reasonable? No, it is not reasonable. 5 blocks is not a reasonable answer. Our answer is right here. It is 19 blocks. Does that match? If her tower is 5 more blocks than Shanika's 14, 19 makes much more sense than 5. Great job checking to see if it's reasonable, first graders. Now you get to do some of the questions in your problem set book. I want you to use RDW and check to see if your answer is reasonable.